Today in studio, we've got Bismarck Rewane, a renowned economist and MD of Financial Derivatives Company of Nigeria, joining us in studio to discuss Nigeria's economy. Bismarck, welcome to South Africa and welcome to our studios.
Good morning. Thank you.
Now, it's become quite a talking point, the rebasing of Nigeria's GDP, which now makes it the leading economy in Africa. What does that mean?
What it means is that Nigeria's GDP goes from $305 billion, equivalent in nominal terms, to $425 billion, using the base year of 2010 rather than the base year of 1990.
It's been a phenomenal story in terms of growth in Nigeria, but one that a lot of people think has taken quite a long time to achieve.
The reality is that the GDP output of Nigeria hasn't changed, and it's not going to change because of this rebasing. It only means that in comparison to other countries who have used more recent base years, the numbers are more realistic. So for an investor, for example, he knows the size of the market based on that, rather than comparing Nigeria at $305 billion to Ghana at $30 or $40 billion. So it now knows that the Nigerian economy is more than 10 times the size of the Ghanaian economy. He now knows that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa compared to South Africa. Having said that, nominal numbers are different from effective numbers. What it does mean is that the rate of growth after this is going to be slower because of the law of large numbers. It's easier to grow as a small number than it is to grow as a large number. And it doesn't take away from the fact that there are some structural changes that need to take place to sustain the growth rate that has already been achieved.
Given that, the Nigerian economy has been impressive in terms of growth.
Yes.
What are some of the key elements that have driven that growth?
The key drivers of growth, if you look at it, it's been telecommunications, it's been wholesale and retail trading, it's been construction and building and construction, it's been hotel and restaurants, and to a large extent agriculture. But what you must know is that between the last base year and this base year, where telecoms we had only 400,000 fixed lines in Nigeria. Today we have over 120 million lines, right? So the rebase is going to give telecommunication its real place in terms of the mix of the economy. Building and construction. In 1990, refineries were a huge part of the Nigerian economy. Today, the refineries are not as big as they used to be, and quite frankly, Nigeria imports refined oil. All of this is reflected in, one, the nominal GDP, and two, the composition of the elements that make the GDP.
That's something that's also been spoken about quite often, the diversification of the economy.
Yes.
But some industries have lagged behind. Agriculture, for example. Nigeria used to be a net exporter and now is importing.
No, I mean, that's natural. In all economies, including South Africa and the US, resource-rich economies are giving way to innovation and creativity, and modern tools, the IT revolution has actually increased the relative contribution of technology and services relative to resource production. So I can tell you that in Nigeria now, the telecoms industry, the media industry, the creative art industry, Nollywood are huge contributors compared to what they were. In fact, some of them did not exist in the year 1990. So yes, some sectors are going to reinvent themselves. Some sectors are going to fade away, while some new sectors are going to come onto the screen, onto the scene.
Nigeria falls within the ambit of emerging markets, and we've seen some volatility in the emerging markets. How do we ensure that Nigeria can insulate itself from some of these external shocks? Well,
short term, you look for direction, and long term, you look for value. The value of the Nigerian economy is there. The short-term volatility in market prices are just activities of speculators on one hand, activities of institutional investors who are trying to actually rationalize their own decisions whether to short or go long on a particular product or particular commodity or particular market. After all of that volatility, the market will come back to normal, and you will find that the Nigerian market, because of its strong fundamentals, because of its vibrant people, because of the size of its market, will always come out on top.
One of the things that South African investors, for example, going into Nigeria have faced is not understanding those demographics and the sophistication of the Nigerian economy.
You can dimension the risks. Some of them are political, some of them are institutional, some of them are actually market risks. If you dimension it properly, you can actually mitigate and manage some of those risks. And for example, MTN came into Nigeria, paid $285 million 15 years ago. Ever since then, that industry has invested $25 billion, right? And no question about the fact that the market has enormous potential. Enormous potential.
Talking about that potential, Nigeria has got a well-documented and very ambitious growth plan, the development plan for 2020. Where are we relative to some of those targets that have been set in that development plan?
Well, in 2020, we're supposed to be at $900 billion of economic activity. Now, after rebasing, we are 50%. So there's 5 more years to go, and I doubt that some of those targets will be met. Some of the targets were very ambitious. But the important thing is that let us look at where we were and where we are. We've actually come a long way. Are we where we could have been? No. So potential GDP is growing at 11%, while real GDP is growing at 6%. That explains it, the difference between the potential and the real. Why is this? There are constraints. Constraints, the most important constraint being power, road networks, refineries, ports. Is there something made on about it? Yes. So power reform has taken place. The assets have been handed over to the private sector. We are not seeing the results now. We'll see the results next year. Refineries is a major issue of change of ownership and government exiting that business. And agriculture using new seedlings, new fertilizers, better land preparation. Monetary policy, keeping inflation at 8%, which is keeping positive real interest rates. I think, by and large, there are positive things about the Nigerian market.
Last question for you, Bismarck, is what's the impact that Nigeria's growth has had in the region?
Well, that's a big question and very important. While we have seen income grow, we've seen income inequality actually grow. So the income is stranded at the top of the pyramid. The challenge today is how to make it go all the way down to the middle of the pyramid and also the bottom of the pyramid. There's stark income inequality. There's very little social mobility. And these are issues that have been addressed and need to be resolved very quickly.
Bismarck, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best.